The night my parents handed my brother the company I had spent 8 years building, everyone expected me to smile. My father raised his champagne glass. To the next generation. My brother Ryan stood beside him, grinning like he had just won the lottery. My mother hugged him. My aunt clapped. And then my father looked directly at me. Emily, I hope you understand why we made this decision. I did. At least, I thought I did. My brother had always been the one they believed was destined for greatness. I was the one who worked behind the scenes. The one who answered emails at midnight. The one who fixed problems nobody else wanted. The one who stayed late when everyone else went home. And apparently, after 8 years of doing all that, my parents had decided I wasn't important enough to own the company I'd helped build. What they didn't know is that Ryan wasn't actually taking control of the company that night. Because there was one document sitting inside my desk drawer that none of them had ever seen. And when Ryan's biggest client discovered what that document said, the celebration ended very quickly. My name is Emily Harper. I'm 36 years old, and my family owns Harper & Lane, a luxury home design company based in Austin, Texas. At least, that's what everyone believed. My parents started the company 22 years ago from a tiny office above a furniture store. My father handled sales. My mother handled design. And I grew up watching both of them work until midnight. When I was 28, I joined the company. Ryan joined 2 years later. The difference between us was immediate. Ryan loved being seen. I loved getting things done. He wanted the fancy office. I wanted the systems to actually work. He wanted to meet wealthy clients. I wanted those clients to come back. Within 4 years, I had completely rebuilt our online business. I created a digital design service. I developed partnerships with furniture manufacturers. I built our client management system. And most importantly, I landed a contract with a national hotel group. That single contract changed everything. Our annual revenue went from just over $2 million to nearly $11 million. My father called it a family miracle. My mother called it proof that the company had finally become something special. Neither one called it my achievement. I didn't complain. I told myself I didn't need recognition. I just wanted my family to succeed. Then Ryan decided he wanted more. One afternoon, he walked into my office and closed the door behind him. "You know Dad's getting tired," he said. I looked up from my computer. "Okay. He wants me to take over eventually." I smiled. "That's great." Ryan stared at me. "You don't seem surprised." "Should I be? You've always acted like this company belongs to you." That sentence stayed with me. I looked around my office. The shelves were filled with awards I'd helped the company win. The wall displayed photographs from projects I'd personally managed. I had spent 8 years helping build this place. But Ryan was right about one thing. I had started acting like it belonged to me. Because somewhere along the way, I had forgotten that my parents had never actually given me a reason to believe they saw me as an equal. A month later, my parents called a family meeting. They told me Ryan would become the new president. I congratulated him. Then my father said, "We want you to continue working under him." I thought I had misunderstood. Under him? Ryan smiled. "You'll still be important." My mother nodded. "Very important." I looked at my father. "What's my position?" He hesitated. "Chief Operations Director." Ryan laughed. "Sounds important." I ignored him. "What about ownership?" The room went silent. My father looked uncomfortable. "Ryan will eventually take over the majority." "Eventually?" "That's the plan." I nodded slowly. "So I'm building the company for him." My mother's expression hardened. "Emily, don't make this about money." I stared at her. "I'm not." "Then what are you making it about?" I looked at my brother. "Respect." Ryan rolled his eyes. And that's when my father said something I'll never forget. "Your brother has the personality to lead this company." I felt something inside me go quiet. Not angry. Not heartbroken. Just finished. I stood up. "Congratulations, Ryan." My father looked relieved. But I wasn't finished. "I'll give you 30 days. Ryan frowned. "For what?" "For me to transfer everything I built into the company systems." My father nodded. "That's reasonable." He had no idea what he had just agreed to. Because there was something they didn't know about Harper and Lane. 3 years earlier, when the company was struggling financially, my parents had asked me to personally invest $400,000 to keep it alive. I used nearly every dollar of my savings. But I didn't simply hand them money. My attorney insisted that the investment be documented as an equity purchase. I received shares. Not many, but enough to give me 51% voting control of the company. My parents knew I'd invested. They simply forgot one very important detail. I never sold those shares. And over the years, while everyone assumed my father owned the company, I had quietly become the majority voting shareholder. I had never used that power, because it was my family's business. And I thought family mattered more than paperwork. Apparently, I was wrong. The 30 days began. Ryan immediately started changing things. He replaced senior employees with his friends. He canceled contracts he didn't understand. He promised clients services we couldn't realistically provide. And every time I warned him, he laughed. Relax, Emily. I'm in charge now. I kept my mouth shut. Because I had decided something. I was done saving people from the consequences of decisions they insisted on making. Then came the biggest mistake. Ryan signed a massive contract with a luxury hotel chain in California. The contract was worth $4.8 million. He invited everyone to celebrate. My parents were thrilled. Ryan called me into his office. You should be proud. I stared at the contract. Did you read the termination clause? He laughed. Of course. Then you know if we miss the first delivery deadline, they can cancel the entire agreement. Ryan waved his hand. That's not going to happen. Do we have the manufacturing capacity? I'm handling it. Ryan. He looked annoyed. Emily, you're not in charge anymore. I nodded. Right. I walked out. 3 weeks later, the first shipment was late. Then the second. Then the hotel chain's project manager demanded a meeting. Ryan blamed the suppliers. The suppliers blamed Ryan. And my parents blamed me. My father came into my office furious. You were supposed to make sure this didn't happen. I stared at him. Ryan is running operations. He's your brother. And he's the president. My father slammed his hand against the desk. Stop being difficult. I almost smiled. I'm not being difficult. I opened my laptop. I'm being unemployed. He froze. What? I've decided to resign. My father stared at me. My mother came into the office. What are you talking about? I'll finish the transition. You can't leave. Why? Because the company needs you. I looked at them. No. My voice was calm. Your company needs me. My mother looked hurt. You're really going to abandon your family? I closed my laptop. You gave my job to Ryan. Then I walked away. That was the last day I worked at Harper and Lane. Or at least, that's what my family thought. 2 weeks later, Ryan held a meeting with the company's biggest client. The hotel chain's CEO flew into Austin personally. Ryan arrived wearing an expensive suit. My father sat beside him. My mother sat across the table. Ryan smiled confidently. Thank you for coming. The CEO opened his folder. We have some concerns. Ryan leaned forward. We're fixing everything. The CEO looked at him. Who is Emily Harper? Ryan blinked. My sister. Is she still with the company? No. The CEO looked at my father. Why not? My father shifted in his chair. She decided to pursue other opportunities. The CEO stared at him. Then he closed his folder. That's unfortunate. Ryan frowned. Why? The CEO leaned back. Because Emily Harper is the reason we signed this contract. Ryan's face changed. What? The CEO continued. She negotiated every term. My father said nothing. She designed the delivery system. Still nothing. She personally guaranteed the quality standards. Ryan suddenly looked nervous. Then the CEO said, and our contract contains a change of control provision. Ryan swallowed. What does that mean? It means we need to know who actually controls Harper and Lane. My father looked confused. I do. The CEO turned to his attorney. The attorney opened a document. No, Mr. Harper. He looked directly at my father. You don't. Silence. Ryan looked at the document. Then he froze. What is that? The attorney answered calmly. Corporate ownership records. My father's face went pale. The CEO continued. According to the records, Emily Harper owns 51% of the voting shares. Ryan stared at him. No. The CEO looked at him. Yes. My mother whispered. That's impossible. The CEO closed the folder. We'd like to speak with Emily. Ryan suddenly stood. She doesn't work here anymore. The CEO gave him a strange look. That's not what I'm asking. My father grabbed his phone. He called me. I watched his name appear on my screen. I didn't answer. He called again. Then my mother. Then Ryan. Finally, a text appeared. Emily, please call me. This is serious. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, I know. My father immediately called again. This time I answered. Hello. His voice sounded completely different. Emily, where are you? Home. You need to come to the office. No. Please. That word surprised me. My father had never said please to me. I leaned back. Why? There was silence. Then he said, because apparently we need you. I closed my eyes. No, Dad. What? You don't need me. I paused. You need the person you spent 8 years refusing to recognize. Nobody spoke. Then Ryan came onto the phone. Emily, I'm sorry. I almost laughed. Are you? Yes. Why? Because I thought I could do it. You thought you could do what? Run the company. And now? Silence. Now I know I can't. I looked out my window. For years, I had imagined this moment. I thought I'd feel satisfied, powerful, vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. I told them I would come to the office. But I had one condition. Everyone had to be there. My parents, Ryan, the board, and the company's attorneys. When I walked into that conference room, nobody said anything. I placed a folder on the table. My father looked at it. What is that? The original equity agreement. Ryan stared at me. You really own 51%? Yes. Why didn't you tell us? I looked at him. You knew I invested $400,000. But I didn't know. Exactly. I looked at my parents. You didn't ask. My mother started crying. Emily, we never meant to hurt you. I nodded. I believe you. She looked surprised. But you did. My father lowered his head. I continued. I didn't want to take the company from you. I looked at Ryan. And I don't want to take it from him either. Everyone stared at me. I had already made my decision. I would remain the majority shareholder. But I wouldn't run the company. Instead, I hired an experienced CEO. Ryan kept a position in sales. My parents retired. And for the first time, the business had professional leadership instead of family politics. 6 months later, the hotel chain renewed its contract. The company grew. And something unexpected happened. Ryan became good at his job. Not because he suddenly became smarter. Because he finally stopped pretending he had to be the most important person in the room. One evening, months after everything happened, Ryan came to my house. He brought pizza. Sophie, my 9-year-old daughter, opened the door. Uncle Ryan. He smiled. Hey, superstar. They went into the kitchen. I watched my brother help her with a puzzle. Then he looked at me. You know what I realized? What? I spent my whole life thinking you were competing with me. I didn't say anything. He continued. You weren't. I shook my head. No. You were building something. Yes. And I was too busy trying to be the person everyone noticed. I smiled. That sounds about right. He laughed. Then he became serious. I'm sorry. This time, I believed him. I didn't give up my shares. I didn't hand control back to my father. And I didn't pretend those 8 years hadn't happened. But I finally understood something. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't taking revenge. It's refusing to let other people's opinions decide how you see yourself. My family spent years thinking Ryan was the future of Harper and Lane. They were wrong. But I was wrong too. I had spent years believing I needed my father's approval before I could believe I'd done something meaningful. I didn't. The company didn't make me successful. The 51% didn't make me powerful. The money didn't make me valuable. I was already valuable before any of them noticed. And sometimes, the greatest victory isn't watching your family lose everything. It's sitting quietly at the table when they finally realize the person they overlooked was the one holding the keys all along.